Hello everybody, this is Deanna with Food Bank Beautiful and it is December the 1st at about 12 noon. I've been dinking around in my kitchen for most of the morning, have done a lot of projects, but all of that is going to be on a different video because this video is going to be dedicated to my first attempt at making lemon curd. Yeah. So I watched a couple of videos on YouTube and they made lemon curd and it looks like a tedious process. And they also canned it. And I always use this as my sort of like Bible on what I can and cannot do for my own kitchen. Not criticizing anybody else's kitchen, but this does not want you to can your lemon curd. It has a lot of butter in it and it has a lot of eggs in it. And so that, for me personally, just did not feel safe to can it. So I am going to make the lemon curd recipe, which is on page 328. I'm going to make a double batch and see how it turns out. Now, I bought a jar of lemon curd and it about killed me. Wilkin & Sons Limited Tiptree lemon curd. Any guesses? $4? $5? $6? $6.50 to make a very special birthday cake for somebody. So I don't ever want to have to do that again, but I don't know. I've never made lemon curd. I don't know, it can be tricky. I read a ton of recipes. There's all kinds of scary little Nightmare on Elm Street scenarios where it ends up tasting like scrambled eggs with lemon in it. So we just don't know. So I am going to do that. So the first thing, and I'm actually making a double batch. So the first thing that I did is I zested about 6 lemons, and I have 2 cups of sugar in here. I'm going to zest my lemon and my sugar together. Now this recipe doesn't call for that, but another recipe that I read said they got a much smoother texture by doing this step. So I'm going to go ahead and run it through my little food processor, and then I'm going to start the process. So it says this recipe, a single recipe, makes 1 pint. Okay? And in order to make 1 pint, you need 2 pounds of lemons, which is about 6 lemons. I have 11 lemons, so I use 6, zested 6, and then it's going to call for 4, well, let me read it to you as it says. For a single recipe, 2 pounds of lemons, making 2 tablespoons of zest and 1 cup of juice respectively, a half a cup of butter softened, 2 cups of sugar, and 4 large eggs. All right, now, here, I'm going to go ahead and grate that or mix that in with my food processor to see if I can get a finer texture. Okay, I'm going to turn it off for this though. Okay, in my bowl down here, I have 4 cups of sugar and I have the zest of the lemons. And to this now, I'm going to add 1 cup of softened butter. And I am to mix this until it's all nice and mixed, and then I add my eggs in one at a time. Okay, now the recipe specifically says 1 egg at a time until just blended. So that's what we're going to do. There's egg number 1. And I'm just going to do this without you guys online. I'll do this first one. Oh, maybe I'll do them all if you guys can stand listening to the mixer. That is 2. All right, I'll come back when I'm done. Okay, to this bowl down here, I did beat in those eggs, 1 egg at a time, 8 eggs. Once that was done, I strained my lemon juice twice, and I added 2 cups of lemon juice to this recipe. Okay, all right, and they said it would look curdled, but it really doesn't. It looks really silky smooth. And now I'm going to transfer it over here to my Dutch oven, and I'm going to do the 20 minutes of whisking on moderate heat, and we'll see what we get. I don't know. I hope it's going to be good. Okay, I set my timer for 16 minutes. I might have to do this a little bit longer because I made a double batch, but here it is right here on my stovetop. And it says constant whisking. So that's what we're going to do. Constant whisking. I want to do my dishes, but I will not be able to touch those dishes until this is done. That's okay. I'll do it afterwards. I don't believe I will bring the camera over again until this is completely finished, so I can concentrate specifically on this. All right. You gotta have muscles for this, ladies, okay? All right, so I cooked this on top of the stove for 16 minutes. I also had a thermometer in here because a person that I watched on YouTube was cooking hers to 170. And so at 16 minutes, mine was at 160. Another 4 or 5 minutes and it popped up to 170. Now, this looks thin to me, but I'm guessing that it will thicken up as it cools. So we are now going to jar it, but we are not canning it, okay? We're going to jar it in pint jars and half pint jars. And then we're going to put saran wrap on the top surface of the curd. Then we're going to let it cool. Then we're going to take that saran wrap off. We're going to put a plastic lid on. We're going to stick it in the refrigerator. And then from the refrigerator, when it's completely cool, we're going to move it to the freezer. Are you scared? Because I'm a little scared, but it looks great. So let me bring you down here. And let's start with these. I don't know how much I'm going to get, but let's see what we got. Looks beautiful in the jar, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and take that out. Wow, that's so pretty. And do you love how I color coordinated my shirt to the lemon curd? It's still pretty hot. Okay. Now I'm going to use these little half pints and see what that looks like. Now my cousin Laura is coming on the 4th, and she's going to be here for a baking day, and I would like to be able to send her home with some lemon curd. And I have enough lemons to make this amount again. So I'm going to see how it does after it's completely cooled, if it's what I think it should be. And if so, I will take the time in the next day or two to make another batch. The only thing I'm concerned about is the recipe said that I would only get a pint, and that per a single recipe, so I should have only ended up with 2 pints of curd, and I ended up with 4 pints of curd. So I don't know. I've never made it before, so I don't know if this is right. If you know, until you make something, you just don't know how it's going to be. There we go. All right, let this cool for a little bit. I'll come back and put the saran wrap over the top, and then we'll stick them in the refrigerator. It's pretty good, you guys. Let me go grab a spoon. All right, let's taste it. It's really good. It's rich, it's velvety. It's got a nice tart, sweet lemon. I do not taste anything that tastes like scrambled eggs. I'm very glad I zested my lemons and then ran them through a little food processor with the sugar, because there is no texture. It's just smooth and silky. And one of the recipes that I read had said, you know, they wished they hadn't zested their lemon because the texture was funky. I saw that in a couple of things, and they had all these elaborate, you know, little things to do after the fact, which I'm not going to do. But one of them had the before. Grate your zest up with your sugar in a food processor, and that seems to work really good. I'm going to try this bite again. I'm going to go give my husband a bite. I'm still eating out of the pan. My husband said it's delicious. Neither one of us felt like it tasted like scrambled eggs, which was a lot of the complaint that people had from different recipes. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but here in the pan, it is thickening up quite nicely. Can you see that? So I think we did okay. So now I'm going to saran wrap the top of these jars. If I can quit eating it, then I'm going to do my dishes, and I have to can my stock. And I have to leave the house at 3 o'clock, so I might not be able to get that stock canned before. Can you hear my rooster? Okay, I'll do one of these. We'll do it together. I don't know what it's going to look like. Okay, it says put saran wrap over the top, and that's what we're going to do, just like that. Can you guys see that? Now I'm going to screw a band on over the top of this and bring it in my refrigerator to get to a cool temperature, and then I'll take the plastic off and go ahead and pop this into the freezer. All right, I'll come back to you guys.